All right, hi everyone, it's Dave again, East Rosebud Fly and Tackle here in beautiful Billings, Montana. Today we're going to continue our series and we're going to look at a material, Marabou, talk a little bit about the different types and its possible uses. Marabou is the original and ultimate material when you want movement in a fly. It's not flashy or shiny, but even when the fly is sitting still, little microcurrents keep Marabou moving. It was originally harvested from the Marabou stork, which is indigenous to the southeast United States, but of course because of market hunting and overhunting, it was finally banned, I believe in the early 1900s. Now Marabou is taken primarily from turkeys, and I'll show you some other products also taken from chickens. And it occurs around the upper thigh of the animals, and these are from commercially grown turkeys for food. Marabou takes dye very well. It's available in a fabulous variety of colors, and we have just about every color you can imagine here. So there are basically three types of Marabou. Let's look at the first type. It's called prime Marabou. If you look at it, the stalks are very tall. The quill is also very heavy, and the plumes are long, or the flues as they call it on our Marabou. The flues are long and fairly even along both sides. Use this material, pluck it off, use it for collars. If you're tying a woolly bugger and you don't need a real dense tail, this is certainly long enough that you can pull off several fibers and tie in a tail on a woolly bugger or any other streamer. So when you need long flues, prime Marabou is the way to go. The second type is blood quills. Typically they're strung, which just means they're sewn together in a clump. Now the unique thing about blood quills, and this is what I typically use for tailing materials, you'll see that the quill is finer than the prime Marabou, but the chief characteristic of a blood quill is that you have very long flues at the base. They get shorter as you go towards the top, and when you stroke it out, this is the prime material that you'll use particularly on larger woolly buggers. If the tail is too thick for you and people typically tie in too much Marabou, remember that Marabou needs room to breathe. If you tie too much in, you're defeating your efforts. You can strip some from the base. For example, if you decide you want a tail that's this long, you can simply strip these bottom ones, tie it in, or you can actually cut the tip out from down here, cut the middle tip out, and then that will thin your tail material. So the blood quills, again, are primarily tailing materials, although there are long enough hackles that or flues that you can pick off and use for collars. I like to use some red in the throats of my Marabou muddler minnows to simulate the gills. Then we have kind of an in-between. The woolly bugger Marabou is also sewn in clumps like this, strung Marabou, and woolly bugger Marabou is kind of an in-between. The quill is not as long as the prime, but it's longer than the blood quill. And also the thickness of the quill is pretty intermediate in between the prime and the strung Marabou. The flues aren't quite as long, so depending on the length of the tail that you need or the collar, this can be a very good choice. Again, you can just simply pull off what you need and tie it in. Later I'll be doing what I call my down and dirty tailgate damsel using a single woolly bugger Marabou plume. Also, let me jump back here real quickly. The blood quills are also available in 1 ounce packs if you tie a lot. We also carry the UV2 treated material. Then there's also a couple of fairly new products on the market for Marabou. Montana Fly is making a barred blood quill, and this can give you some excellent segmentation effects either in a streamer, or again you can always pull off and use them as collars on spay flies or things like that. These are a blood quill. Secondly, Hairline makes this fine black barred Marabou This is barred, a finer barring than a Montana Fly product, but this is prime Marabou, whereas the Montana Fly product was the strung Marabou blood quills. I will advise you, simply because of the dyeing process here, these get kind of clumped up before you use it. Just kind of run your scissors in here and you can divide that Marabou so it's not quite so stuck. Okay, that's another option for barring on patterns. And then finally we have a product that's called a mini Marabou. And this is actually chicken Marabou. Some companies like Whiting also sell it as chickaboo. You can see everything about it is just downsized. It's a long feather like a prime feather. But if you're tying smaller flies, or for example if you want gild effect on some of the larger nymphs like the Hexagenia or Iscientia nymphs, and these feathers also have a nice aftershaft feather which can also be used for gilling on the side of nymphs. Remember, Marabou again is the ultimate movement material. It's fun to work with, it's easy to use, and it comes in a variety of colors and sizes for whatever your needs are. So get out and buy some and try it. Thank you.